Welcome to the Mediocre Athletes Club, number 2.
What a day.
What a week we've had.
I know.
Oh, hopefully. I haven't caught up with you on your weekly challenges. I complain to you every single day, so you pretty much knew what I went through.
Yeah, So, to recap, last week, mine was a little scattered when we talked to you guys last week. I'm not in the video, am I?
Drifting out.
Drifting out. So I ended by saying my challenge was going to be basically just training throughout the week and being more consistent with my runs and climbing or gym workouts. So I was pretty successful, I think. Sunday, we'll start at Sunday.
Oh, you started Sunday too.
Did I start Sunday? I think, yeah, I did. Well, just in the house. So I rode my little bike inside, spinning bike, and did some strength. Monday, nothing. That was my rest day. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I did some runs and some strength all day, every day. So that was good. Some days were just like 3 miles on the treadmill. Or, but it was nice to just be consistent with that. And I do think that makes a difference just in all the things, mental health, training, feeling good about yourself. So it was nice. And I didn't feel super stressed because it was just including it. It wasn't trying to get a good time or any of that jazz. So it felt pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, how was yours? I know a little bit, but...
Yeah. It actually went really well. I started on Sunday with my intervals, and so Sunday was intervals, Tuesday, or Monday was just a long run, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then Tuesday, intervals, and then I played hockey for the first time for the second time since February. So Wednesday was a struggle. Instead of getting my longish run in or 5K or whatever, I walked for a mile and a half. And then I ran out of time. So I was like, well, guess I'm done here.
But it's better than not doing anything, right?
That's true.
You still did it.
I woke up early. I actually was drinking coffee on the treadmill. I was really
just
proud.
A little jog. That's like going around the block and getting your daily walk.
Yeah,
and coffee,
yeah,
so.
Same thing.
Somewhat normal.
And then went and played hockey again. And that night, which was a big mistake, but then went to work. Brutal. I couldn't run the next morning, but after work, I got home and I did my intervals. So that was Thursday. So I basically did Sunday through Thursday. So I completed my week, minus that one day where I walked a mile and a half, but I count it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't planning on playing hockey, and that's sprinting as well. So technically, I got 2 extra days.
Yeah. I think we did pretty good.
I do too.
For our first weekly challenge. Filling you guys in.
It didn't fail on day 1, which is typically where it goes for me. So, a little bit of accountability, knowing that I was going to have to talk about it, and it was going to be a real short if I said I started on Sunday and finished on Sunday.
Wednesday is always the hardest for me because Monday is always my rest day just because I have a long evening, and even if I say I'm gonna wake up early, I don't, and I've just realized that I have to just plan it in the night time, because if I try in the morning I fail. So
yeah, you did do yours all pretty much in the evening, and I was pretty much all in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I keep trying to be a morning person, but the problem is I'll wake up early and I'll get my workout in, but then I also stay up late. So the next day I have plans to wake up early again, and it doesn't happen because I'm exhausted because I didn't get enough sleep. So I've just realized nighttime has to be the time.
That's your time.
So that's right. So Monday's my rest, and then Tuesday I feel good, but then Wednesday it's our heading towards the end of the week for us. And
Wednesday is our Thursday.
Yeah, it's hard to make yourself want to do something. And then Thursday can be easy, but if you have any plans that afternoon, you're chomping at the bit to do something else. So exercising isn't the easiest either, but we did it.
Yeah.
Got done.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Which led us into Friday.
The weekend.
Yes. What a Friday we had.
The mountains.
Yeah. It's worth it being stuck inside all week for the days that we get like yesterday.
Yeah, it was relatively, well, it was beautiful yesterday. I was surprised it wasn't windy. So I woke up. Right?
Was it windy?
Was it windy? Memory lapse. Okay,
Well,
it was
on
a
and
little
off.
bit windy, but it wasn't like blowing us off.
Well, I guess wind is my least favorite weather thing. It can be pouring down rain. I also hate the heat and the cold. But wind of all things.
Any extreme.
Any extreme, yeah. But wind, so if it's a not even 10 miles per hour wind, for me, I'm not a fan. Especially in the snow.
Yeah, it got chilly at times when you aren't in the sun, but it wasn't bad. It was Bluebird, which helped a ton.
Yeah.
Because the views. When it's cloudy and crappy weather, the motivation just tanks.
Yeah. It's sometimes worth it, and sometimes you just wish you stayed home. But, anyways, yesterday.
Like, the couch would be so much better right now, but yesterday was not the case.
Yeah.
I was like, gosh, I'm glad I said yes to this.
And it was a little bit up north from where we are.
Yeah.
2 hours?
Probably. I
2
slept
hours.
some of it, so...
Yeah.
Had a chauffeur.
And it was about just over 11 miles, just over 4,000 feet gain, up into snow.
Yeah, those days too, to me, are fun because it's not training. I mean, it is in
Yeah.
a certain
You're not worried
way,
about a time.
but you're not worried, not worried about a time, chill, fun. You're not trying to race anyone. I for sure, well, you might be. I for sure got towards the end or even the mid-end, I just got into this good rhythm where I didn't feel like I was dying, but I was sort of keeping up, so that felt okay.
Yeah.
It feels good when you're not dying. So.
It just got so pretty to where I just got like mountain drunk.
It did get pretty. It was cool because it was fall below us. And then...
Frosty on the way up, the fall.
That's always cool.
And then we went into the winter and the wind that you forgot about. But it was there, I promise.
No, it was. Because my legs and butt got cold. And that is always the worst because you can't really heat that up well. And that's one of the things I was wishing I would have brought, which maybe we can get into winter gear here in a little bit, but the down skirts that I used to make fun of so much when I moved up here, I thought they were the stupidest thing. I wish I had one to show you guys, but it's basically just a down piece of fabric.
It's basically like a puffy jacket, but it's a skirt.
Yeah. It's so funny because yesterday I was like, I wish I had it because it just keeps your... Like, there's still airflow, but it keeps your butt and thighs warm.
Yeah, I never thought about that. But you weren't wearing a waterproof layer, were you?
No, just my hiking pants, which they dry out really fast. But they're not.
But they're not, like, windproof or...
I don't know. Wasn't, like, super cold. I also have holes in my pants.
That's true.
But
you have tape on them, so...
Yeah, it's fine.
Fine.
I can't keep a pair of pants without a hole for probably... If we go on a month, that's good.
Wow.
Doing good.
So what you're saying
something
is
snags
you
on
fall
them, or a rock, or a tree branch catches on it. I don't know, but it happens. So yeah, it's rough life. We go through gear. I think we go through gear. I don't know if you do, but I feel like you go through it pretty fast, and you just get used to having to throw. I don't know. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. I was just about to say, I feel like sometimes I spend a lot of money, but I also don't want people to think that you have to spend money to do anything because you need a good pair of shoes. But outside of that, you can generally be okay.
But
With some comfort, you might get rid of some comfort for sure.
yeah, I for sure starting out, because you never know what you're going to want. Like any sport you get into, you don't want to buy the best, most expensive stuff because it might not be the kind of, I don't know, what you want exactly. So starting out and then figuring out, oh, I want a waterproof layer here, whatever. So I think that's why I don't ruin my gear, because I've dabbled in many different brands and many different things. And finally now just getting to like a core group of layers and shoes and accessories that I cannot veer from.
Right.
So it's taken a long time. Last year I got my first pair of waterproof pant shells. And that was such a game changer.
Is that what you wore yesterday? Okay.
Super duper thin. They pack into pretty much nothing.
Okay.
And so I take those spring and fall, even if I'm not going to wear them. And then mittens for the first time.
I had my huge mittens on and I thought they were going to be overkill, and then I was so glad I had them. It got down to, what was it, probably 30s. And I don't know, with the wind.
Yeah, we started at like 34, and then we probably gained, I don't know, about 35 probably. Yeah, I think about 35. And then the rest was dropping up and going back down.
Right.
So we did drop some degrees.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, are we talking about vert?
No, altitude we started.
Oh, wait. I thought we were talking about temperature.
We are, but...
Oh, okay. But the drop or going up high, the change in the temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Back on the same
Well,
page.
we started at a higher elevation than we normally ever start.
Right, so it's a little bit chilly. Because on the drive it was 40s, and then it...
Well, while you were sleeping, it was low 30s. Got up to 40s and then dropped back down to 30s. Yeah, first time climbing in the 30s this year. For me, I don't know about you.
I think so. We did one backpacking trip that it got pretty cold in the evening, and then the morning was cold, but once the sun hit, it was totally fine. So probably, and that was the trip that I thought to myself, things are going to start slowing down a little bit in the hiking world because I am a baby when it comes to, well, not a baby, but cold is something that I really have to regulate and figure out, like, how long I can be out for, or how long I need to be out for, or if I can't be out for too long, or I probably won't backpack. I'm probably not going to spend the night in the freezing cold. Some people do, but I can't. I would be so freezing, and I don't think I would be able to warm up, but someday.
You do a really good job with your layers. It's just your feet and your...
My feet and hands get really cold. Yeah, so this time, somebody told me a while back, if you keep your core really warm... I mean, I've struggled to the point that, and you know this, but I've struggled to the point where I've been in tears, my feet are cold, even midsummer. I think I told you about one of our trips we did. Super warm out, beautiful day, but we had to do a water crossing. That was fine, and I wasn't worried about it. But then my feet, they just slowly got colder, and I wasn't really paying attention, and then they just could not come back. And it was probably 50 degrees out.
Oh, no.
And I was just in tears because I was so frustrated with my body. But anyway, so somebody told me a while back that if you almost overheat your core, that it can help your extremities, just because you have, I don't know if that's scientific or not, but that you have warmer blood circulating, or it's circulating faster. I don't know if it's a science, but that seemed to help yesterday, and I don't know if it was that or the sun coming and going, but I was sweating, but my feet got pretty cold at one point, and then I just put my puffy on, even though I didn't really feel like I needed it, but I put my puffy on and then started going uphill, so then you're just sweating, and it seemed to, my feet were soaking still from the snow, but it seemed to warm up.
You tossed hand warmers in your shoes too.
Yes, and that's something that I have to be really careful on. And everybody's different. So when we're talking about this, like what works for me isn't going to work for you. What works for you is definitely not going to work for me. But the warmers, like yesterday, my feet were just warm enough where I knew if I took them out into the wind and the cold, if I took my feet out of their shoe, out of their shoes, that they wouldn't be freezing. But sometimes I'm scared to even take my feet out because I know it's just going to make it colder if it's super windy or really cold. Like 30's not terrible, it's still manageable, but
when
so
we're
I
not
wouldn't
used to it
always do
too.
that.
The first trips are always way colder.
Right, but I wouldn't always like take my feet out and put warmers in there just because I don't want to risk them getting colder, because sometimes, like yesterday, the warmers didn't really, once my feet are so cold and then in the snow, if they're not in there beforehand and getting friction and actually getting warm, they don't work very well. So I don't know if that makes sense, but if you start with them, then they seem like, even after trips, I'll bring them in the house, and then I notice they get really hot because they're surrounding, it's, you know, it's a warmer environment, but in the cold, they don't seem to work super well. But if you start with them, so yesterday was a hard, trips like that are hard because it starts out, you don't want to put them in there because you don't want to sweat, and then the wind hits you and you freeze. So that's always a tricky, winter's tricky.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever, it's not that I do better in cold. I've just never really put the energy into staying warmer. Until last year, like I said, I got my first pair of waterproof pant shells, which made a huge difference, able to be out there in more wind, colder weather. I have probably like 5 jackets that I've bought over the past year and a half. It's unhealthy, but it's great because for different weather things, whatever, I have options. And the mittens have made a huge difference because there were hikes we go on in the middle of winter. I'm like, it's 30 degrees. I don't really need gloves. And then I'm dying. But luckily, you always have extra gloves.
I always have 5 pairs. Yeah.
So I'm just stealing gear from you the whole time. And yeah, kind of needed to change. So the only thing that I haven't switched up is my footwear.
Okay.
I've always just done my vented summer shoes with micro spikes, and my feet freeze. But most of the trips that I do in the winter is the same mountain. It's uphill, downhill, 3,000 feet, 2.5 miles or so up. So it's short, and it's...
You know you'll get to safety.
Yeah.
Die of hypothermia, hopefully.
And you're pretty much dying the
frostbite.
whole way up, so...
Yeah.
If you're going fast enough, you're not going to get super cold. But it gets hammered with wind in the winter, and that's really the biggest issue. I mean, you can be out there in 0 degrees on a bluebird day. If it's not windy, you're not feeling too bad.
Right. Yeah, and here we have a little bit different of a challenge. Well, there's probably lots of places that don't get quite as much sun in the winter, but up here, that's something. Yesterday we had so much sun, so that helped a lot. But had it been our I don't know, when do we have the least amount of sun? November? December?
End of December.
December. So had it been then, it maybe would have been a little bit colder or different. But when it's not windy, for sure, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know about you, but as soon as my feet get wet, and then if there is wind, not a good day.
Yeah, yesterday wasn't too bad. We were able to manage it. It got up to 40 by the time we were done, so.
Right.
Or 50, I can't remember. But
yeah,
this year, I'm going to, and it scares me because you know how much I love my footwear. Switching it up. I'm going to try a Gore-Tex studded option.
Still a Solomon.
Still a Solomon because
don't be fooled.
I am loyal, and unfortunately, pretty much everything I wear is Solomon at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna switch it up. Try some waterproof shoes, studded, because sometimes just having the micro spikes on your shoes collects snow. It gets stuck in there and it just makes them colder.
Micro spikes too. I don't know. I've noticed this with crampons too, but micro spikes, anything that's metal, will tell. So this is a micro spike. We'll show you. We have props this time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tangled, but there's little spikies.
It's really awkward.
Yeah, it does look kind of awkward, but there's little spikes on the bottom. And you just stick it over your shoe or your boot or whatever you have. And you don't slip as much.
Yeah.
It's not...
They're amazing in cold snow.
Cold snow, packed snow. But they make my feet... That I guess that's to finish my sentence before is anything metal, crampons, micro spikes make my feet cold.
Oh, really?
And I don't know. Not all the time, but so these are super handy. It's the Catula brand that holds up pretty well. The rubber breaks on it. I don't know.
Occasionally, but they have a 2-year warranty.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But the Catula brand is really good, and they also have, if you are more of a runner, a nano spike, which I also have. I actually really like that for winter running, just to throw over any shoe, any of your favorite shoes, versus, but I'm curious how you'll like the studded Solomon this year. Maybe I'll break down and buy it, but yeah. I'm curious if you'll like that, because I really like my nano spike for running, but I can put it on even just a regular road runner shoe. Yeah. And it works great. So it's not like a big bulky trail shoe that I put it on.
It makes your shoes usable all year round.
Right.
Rather than getting a studded shoe, we're going to use it for, I guess, a decent amount of months up here, but.
Yeah, maybe not everywhere, but they are super nice. Packed snow, any icy snow. I mean, they're only so aggressive, so if you're doing anything really crazy. Yeah, they're something else, but
more along the trail running category, not really mountaineering. But
yeah, but the nano spikes I loved for running. Like they didn't, because I tried running in those ones.
I remember when you did that. That's
but also
landing on this platform. That's brutal.
But also the trails up here they don't clear off roads or sidewalks very well up here, where other states I think they do a better job of it. And so I mean, they try their best up here. We love them. But they definitely stay icy, so you need something where other people may be able just to
get over
run on the sidewalk.
But on the flip side, everyone is so active up here in the winter still, so all of the mountain trails, it'll snow overnight, and then by afternoon, the trails are packed back in. So there are the people that go out there at 5 a.m. Yeah. Middle of winter.
And those trails, I at least feel that they're a little easier to prepare for, because you know they're packed down. So you need a wind layer, gloves, hat, all the basic things. But once you get off, trails that aren't as packed down, that's where the nightmare hits.
With
post-holing.
Or even in the springtime, once the snow softens up on the packed trails, now you're post-holing up to your hip.
Probably.
It's brutal.
Which one did we do? And you were determined to wear shorts, and we came back, and you're like post-holing through. When you're post-holing through already packed trails, it's like you poke through, and then it's just crusty ice. So your legs just get so cut up.
I think, was that Blueberry Knoll? It's
It
not
must have
very
been.
high, but oh my gosh. Brutal. Yeah,
Struggle.
I definitely always jump the gun on wearing shorts in the springtime. It's an optimism thing. It's not a real...
Makes you feel good about life, for sure.
Yeah. Get excited. So, but maybe this spring I won't do that because I'm tired of bruised and bloody shins throughout the springtime.
Just have to do hill repeats on the packed trails.
Yeah.
Just don't go past that. I don't know.
Yeah, there's always a little spot where you can find somewhere windblown. Or, oh my god.
Sorry, there's lots of little flies around. They're trying to come inside.
I guess it's
Away
getting
from
cold
the
out. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, what else? This is the. Do you use a buff at all, or like a neck warmer?
Yeah, I do.
You have one. If you want to start running or doing anything in the cold, this is so versatile. You can stick it over your neck. You can make it into a hat. You can throw it into a headband.
It's a mask.
Yeah, a mask, especially now. And then we were talking too about how to keep water before we started this. How to keep water warm in the winter, because sometimes if you have a soft flask or a bladder, they'll freeze, or the hose will freeze up. Or the water's just too cold.
I haven't used bladders in years because these things are so much nicer. And speaking of being lazy, that's really honestly why I moved away from bladders. Is not only can the hose freeze in the winter, but it's just harder to pull water out of them.
Yeah.
Because they're on your back, and soft flasks sit in the pockets just right in the front of hydration packs. So it's a lot easier to get water out of. If it does freeze up, you can melt it out really fast. It's just a mouthpiece. Typically.
Yeah, I have noticed sometimes the lid underneath too will get, just like this top one, like underneath will get frozen, so I'll just have to take it off and either pick out the ice or something.
Yeah. But it's a
Eat
lot
the ice.
easier.
And I think I switched to the soft flask when I got a running vest. Because they just sit in your pockets, and it's so funny.
And we're brand mashing right now.
We are, but just my Solomon ones broke or got gross or something, or I lost them. Probably lost them. That seems more realistic.
No.
But I'll stop playing with that. I switched to the soft flask when I got one of these, and I kind of made fun. I don't know if I made fun of a running vest, but it's funny how you're just like, what? Like, those people are crazy. But especially these Solomon ones, everybody who wants a running vest, just spend the money and go with Solomon.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow at first. That's why I did not buy one.
It's like the price of a big hiking backpack. Like a 50-liter pack. It's so frustrating.
Not if you get it on eBay.
True. That's true. There are places you can get them cheaper. And
or
REI
older
will
models.
go- Yeah. And this is
Because this
an
is
older
last
model.
year's generation.
Is
or
it
the
last
year
year's?
prior.
I think it's probably 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
This is an
gross.
old generation. You might be able to find it on sale. It's incredible. It has this huge pouch back here. The huge zipper pouch. It does accept a bladder.
I've never tried a bladder in there. I don't think.
That's because they suck.
Weird,
Zippers everywhere, whistles, pockets absolutely everywhere. I put soft flask here, bear mace here, nutrition up front, whatever. These little side pockets, there's pockets everywhere.
And it's funny too, I try not to load this down too much, and especially in the winter, I will go towards a little bit bigger of a bag. This is really nasty, so don't look too hard.
Just toss it up there real quick.
Yeah, I'll go to a little bit bigger of a bag in the winter just so I can hold more layers, and I'm always nervous when I pack this one down that I'm gonna rip it or something, but
I have put a lot.
It's impressive. Yeah, it's impressive because you can probably fit a light jacket in here. I mean, you can fit quite a bit in there, so they're nice, but
and they do not move around.
No, so I think, and that's what I've heard too about other vests, is that they move around and maybe chafe a little more than I've never had an issue with this one. They do make your back really warm.
Which is,
sweaty.
yeah, that's the other thing in winter. No matter how short my run's going to be, I wear it just as an extra layer.
Oh, because it keeps you warm. And the only time that frustrates me is it gets so warm you sweat, and then if it gets cold, or if you have to take your bag off for a second, you freeze, but it's manageable.
I mean, yeah.
But I definitely switched to the soft flask because of that bag, and it was so easy to drink. And I don't know about anybody else, but the bladders have such a plasticky taste to me, and though the soft flasks do a little bit, but not near as much as the bladders. So I actually drink way more water with the soft flask versus a bladder, just because even though a bladder is really accessible too with the hose, it's just even more accessible. I don't know. They're a good option. And I'll even take those even if I don't have pockets up front, because they're light. The material's light. So once you're done with the water, it just
collapses. Yeah, that is the best part.
So that's super nice.
But yeah, we'll never go back. That's one of those things.
Yeah, we ruined ourselves. So maybe don't buy a pack quite yet. Just kidding.
You gotta
do it.
Yeah, I mean, we went through the crappy packs that just bounce around and nothing works, and there's no pockets accessible while you're out.
Right.
Or this one, I don't have to take it off unless I'm taking my jacket off to access anything that I need. So
yeah,
for me, being lazy, it's great.
Super great. Oh, goodness. Let's show you a picture of our trip. We forgot to bring that up. Oh, look at that.
It still makes me happy.
Yeah.
What a day.
That was pretty cool. So those were kind of the conditions that we were in. You can see that obviously it wasn't winter below us, but up above, I don't even know what the peaks were at, that elevation. Someone else knows that.
Yeah.
But
I know what we gained. Yeah. I know how far we went.
Yeah.
And I know that we were above snowline for over half of it, I'd say. So
yeah, probably. And those conditions are always so hard for me because the first half, and this can segue into what we're going to try out this winter. You kind of shared yours already, but those conditions are so hard for me to figure out because the first half you're like, oh, fine and dandy, and then all of a sudden you get to winter. And so it's always a fun when winter first rolls around in the mountains. It's always kind of a fun, like, getting back into the hang of what works, what doesn't work, what didn't work last time, what's going to work this time.
Relearning the lessons.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're going to try out new shoes, you said.
I'm going to, for the first time, try waterproof studded shoes. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I am very curious. We're going to have to talk about that again and whether you like them or not. Especially waterproof because...
I'm super picky about shoes.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. This. Oh, I wish I had... Oh, this isn't awkward. Okay. This has been my shoe for the past, I think, 3 summers.
A few hairs.
Not this specific one. This is Teresa's. But this generation, the next generation, and the current generation. And I love them because they're the first shoes I've worn without losing toenails.
Oh.
Solomon, another shout out.
Yes.
They just do a really good job of locking your foot in your shoe. The way that they shape it, it doesn't allow for a lot of excess movement. Not a lot of cushion. So if you like cushion, they have... Well, this is the S-Lab Sense S G. This is the 6. They're on to the 8 now. Yeah, not a lot of cushion. They do have more cushion options.
Yeah.
Super light.
Like, I don't know. Do top elite runners use those for really long races?
Mm-hmm.
Do they? Okay.
Well, I think up to like 30 kilometers.
Okay.
But they're also gaining a lot more too. The races are gaining between like 6,000 and 9,000 feet in 30 kilometers. So, yeah. And they're all freaks in nature, so.
They are, yeah. But those are super lightweight, nice shoes. But I'm curious with the Gore-Tex if you'll like that, just because I know I dabbled with that when I first got up here, and it's kind of nice, and maybe it'll be better in the winter. It's kind of nice, but then at the same time, once water gets in, it's not gonna. It might go. Some of it's gonna go out. You're not gonna be sitting in a puddle, but it's not gonna dry out as fast as
Well, that's the other thing that I do that you do not. Is I wear gaiters every single time I go out, just like little ankle gaiters of the Solomon brand. So I don't really get as much in my shoe. Basically, what I get in my shoe in the past has just been because it's always been a vented or mesh or ripstop material that just does not keep the water out. So I'm curious to see how that combo goes. Yeah, because I get asked about that situation.
Your yeah, someday I'll just give it a go, but
it's worth it.
When's
the last time you had to take rocks out of your shoes? Last trip?
I didn't last one, but I had rocks in my shoes. But part of that too is I always get holes in the side of my shoes, so they're gonna get in no matter what. I mean, you're probably right, but
I'm telling you,
some of our trips too, like when there's so much scree, I'm just like, it's not gonna do anything. So I don't know.
It does though.
I'm just not. It's not my favorite. I don't know. The other thing too is because I'll wear really long like snow gaiters in the winter for some of our bigger trips that will go over boots, and what has actually happened with me is they'll trap snow in there, so it makes it for me it's just not my thing, but there is definitely a benefit to it.
We love winter because we've been rambling for 37 minutes now.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we haven't even discussed our new weekly challenges.
No.
We had a lot to get through really fast.
We do have a lot to get through. Mine is probably the same as last. Just here's my idea, at least for right now, with the weekly challenge, is to keep them really simple so I can keep stacking. So last week's will still remain in effect for now.
Oh, we'll see how many we can stack.
For now. But with winter, on the theme of winter, mine is going to be to start taking vitamin D again because we get no sunlight up here and I know it's really important.
Oh.
So that's going to be mine just to add on, and I'm curious how that will, because I get really tired in the winter because it's so dark and there are days that I would rather be lazy. So that's going to be mine.
That's a good one because honestly that's one of the hardest things for me. I'll get like 2 days into taking vitamins. I'm done. But I also, maybe that'll be two-part weekly challenge because I really need to move back into doing some form of core routine. So because I still have to do my intervals and stuff because I still have my 6-minute mile challenge and it might take me, like I said, a year might be a little on the short estimate side. We'll see how long it takes me. So I'll still got that. And I also need to start working on strength a little bit. But core, because my core has just been wrecked from, I don't know if it's a mixture of doing speed work and hockey, but how many times a week is it good for core? Like 2, 3?
I don't know. I do 3 strength ones, but I never
do the same things.
No, I actually do because I do progressive overload training. So it's the same, but I might increase weight a little bit. So I keep it pretty similar, but the core is just included because I'm lifting. I'm not lifting anything heavy. Let's just be real. But because I'm lifting a little heavier than I ever have before, there's core work and all of that. But I would say, to start, I don't know. Just try 2 times.
Okay,
Maybe
2
next
times.
week
We'll
it's
start
3.
We'll start with 2.
But
that's true, because if it's already wrecked and then I try. Okay, so 2
but
times
it doesn't
a week.
have to be long either.
Oh no, it's not.
Like, even 10 minutes of just the same. Someone we both work with, we were talking about core exercises, and she just does, I think it was just 10 different moves, and she did them for a minute each and just timed herself and went through it.
I'll have to talk to her.
Fast, yeah.
And then the other one, since you brought up a good idea with like vitamins, nutrition, I'm gonna start eating breakfast.
Because I'm excited to see how that goes.
I am not a breakfast person. I ate yogurt this morning, which was the first time I've had breakfast in a month and a half. So,
dang.
Yeah, gonna get breakfast. Gonna get it this week.
All right.
Breakfast it is.
What a good second podcast.
Yeah.
So you can find us on Instagram.
On Instagram at Mediocre Athletes Club, and I had to look down to remember this is still new people. And so please give us some love.
Yeah, and subscribe to our YouTube channel because it's only going to get better from here. Let's be real.
Every week
we'll
just get
it's going to get so good. We'll get funny too at some point.
So working on it. Instagram, YouTube, please subscribe. And we're also on Spotify and almost on Apple Podcasts.
We're on Anchor too. And there's a bunch of other random ones, but I don't think anybody listens on those.
No.
So eventually Apple, it just takes some time. Eventually it'll be really fast, but to start, I don't know what their deal is. Well, yeah, we'll get there. But thanks for tuning in. Until next time. If I can find the stop button.